Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to Tick Propaganda Podcast, Season 13, Session 6. I should actually probably do music for this, some sort of podcast intro music. Anyway, so today is joining me is a new guest, Nibber, who's playing Rothinia. He's going to be my co-host today, so he's joining us. Say hi.
Hello.
Hi, there you go. And yeah, so we're gonna go as previous weeks. We're gonna go over probably country diplomacies. I'm not sure we're gonna go into really deep dive into the micro management of every single country. So we're just gonna look over the general political map. We're gonna look at some wars. We're just gonna discuss and just have a general discussion. Gonna again continue stepping away from the micro examination of all the countries. Anyways, so talk to me, neighbor. We're gonna start with England as well. English
Yeah.
politics. Go ahead.
I think GB is doing everything great. He's keeping a low profile. No one's noticing. Meanwhile, he's second, number two, great power. He is eating Sweden while everyone looks at Austria, Ruthenia,
Sure.
and the Swedish-Russia war. He makes bank, like a lot of bank. He has a massive trade fleet everywhere,
Yeah.
pulling money from a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I
He
think
he
playing his
completely
cards
dominates.
pretty
He completely dominates the English Channel, right? I completely agree with you. But the English Channel itself, it's not too rich, and he's paying a lot of subsidies to Prussia, Newfoundland, British Columbia, and Cascadia. So he's paying his colonies to grow. So he's expanding. But again, as I said last week, and so even though he does have those colonies, I'm actually really interested to see what will happen between Spain and England because I actually don't expect nothing to happen there.
They are still married. Yeah, this
I mean,
either
yeah,
Habsburg is still going on. And TB doesn't have the largest fleet. Like, if you look at Malaya,
yes, yeah.
it's a sad fleet for Great Britain, but at the same time, the
Well,
political situation
sure,
allows him to do
exactly,
it.
exactly. But the thing is, Malaya actually got a big boost in his Chinese war. I think he captured like 70 ships from China, right? So a lot of I talked to Feldspike, just to get the information, and we'll get to that point. But Malaya did sink or destroy or capture like 140 heavies or something from China because Feldspike built, I think he spent 10,000 ducats, as he said himself, on building a war fleet which was destroyed by the Malaysians. Yeah, so that's why Malaya has such a huge war fleet is because most of it came from the war that was happening in Asia. But
I
for
mean, he's a pirate,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it works.
yeah, coffee. But yeah, so Great Britain. What do you think about Great Britain in general? Was he a winner or loser of last session?
Definitely a winner.
Okay,
I
why
mean,
so?
Uh, he got all of the former Swedish lowlands. He
Okay,
got
yeah,
the Sjælland crossing, which is really important, allowing to pull trade from Baltic and maybe can even pull
yeah,
trade
wow, yeah, he's
afterwards.
pulling a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I mean, and meanwhile, Central Europe is completely absorbed in a different war, and Sweden is also only looking east and southwards.
yeah.
Yeah,
But no, so the Sweden player actually wrote, and this is like as an admin as well. He wrote that he's not going to be coming back. He's asking for the end of the war, and he apologized for what happened last week, kind of thing. Too many servers, too much stress, and it is a very
yes.
interesting time, as Medorio pointed out. For me, for example, quarantine hasn't been that great because I get angry or something like that. So quarantine affects us all differently. So if people get, you know, he
I see the human side why he
sure
declared the
sure
war, and I wouldn't hold it against him. It just like at the time I was a bit annoyed because
yeah
I was busy in a different war, and if you would have been completely objective, it was not a nice thing to declare that war. But yeah, I get why people do that at the moment. And
yeah
being
exactly.
angry
So
about it is
yeah.
not really helping.
No, I completely agree with you on that. So it's one of those you live and you learn things. Yeah. So Great Britain, you declare. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Great Britain was one of the big winners from this. He's definitely, if he eats into Sweden, is gonna help his force limit up. And since you guys are embroiled in that war, and when is the peace over with British? 57. So in 3 years, he can take 100% war score, and that's
And
gonna be.
that's kind of a thing. Like, does he want more mainland holdings?
Well, it really
Because
depends.
eventually, it's
Uh-huh.
enough to send him stat-hitting beastie. It's good
Actually, it's not eventually. It's not eventually. If he gets declared on, it's actually more than enough, and he has more than enough already in Europe. So, for example, right,
Oh,
it is more than enough. Look how much development it is. And if you set, for example, a war goal for Colding, right? Colding, just, it doesn't matter if it's a fort or not. I think, how much does our mod give a war score? 40% war score?
40%.
Yeah.
You can get a bit back by blockading.
Yes, but you occupy a lot. You look just at, like, for example, the state. That's 39 development in, like, next to Gelre. Then you have 48 development. Then you have another. Let's see, that's 20, 29. My brain is completely shut off right now because, dude, the drinking is absolutely killing me. Oh my God! Don't
Getting
don't
old.
drink. Yeah, don't drink, guys. Don't drink. It's absolutely bad. 48 development, and then you have 9 development and more, right? Just on the mainland. So you're looking over like 130 as of right now development, and then if you go around into Sweden, if he takes more of Sweden, you can just walk around it, right? It's definitely 100%. He's becoming a European continental power with this much land that he's taking. So
So politically, he should try to get a good friend on the mainland.
yes, but again,
Because he has a good army.
he does well. Yeah, Great Britain actually has a really good army. So he went quality, offensive, quantity, and expansion ideas to match with offensive, right? So let's see. He can go with this morale of armies. Let's just see. He's using wrong. Oh God, I'm using your mod, so I'll correct him. Yeah, so he has 133 discipline, right?
Yeah.
And 6.78 morale. And like 6.6 general, 6.5 general, and it's a really strong country on land as well. The only thing that really holding him back is, I guess, a little bit of the manpower. It's kind of limited, right? But it's a good force limit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, that's kind of true.
Yeah, but if, as you said, if he does get an alliance in mainland, then it'll be fine. The thing here, what I think his main alliance is going to be Spain, because it's kind of been a hugboxy thing.
Yeah. I mean, they can't ally. They are both top 4 great powers. At least not during this age.
Yes, so not during this age. Next age, the Age of Revolution, they can ally. Yeah.
I mean, depending on how the Central War ends, there will be people left without strong alliances and looking
Sure.
for new ones. So maybe can pick up an alliance in France, Austria, Prussia, Russia, Ottomans, Ruthenia, whoever gets left in that war.
Maybe. I mean, it will be very interesting if it does happen, but I would love to see Great Britain actually land troops in Europe and fight some European wars, because it definitely can do it, right?
Yeah.
So and it has the economy. He's generating a lot of money. Maybe he's a little bit underbuilt, but just because he has 100 professionalism and the economy to wage really solid wars on, as long as he has a base to build, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we should move on.
No. Yeah, he just wanted to. No. We're gonna move on. We're just talking about countries. I think for France, without even going into the country, I guess we can go into a little bit. What do you think about French position here?
I mean, he isn't going all in this war. Which is kind of interesting. Like he still has, unlike his allies, a lot of professionalism left. He has mercenary left.
Yeah. So he's running all his mercenaries, but even though he has this much professionalism does not apply to mercenaries.
But I mean, it's still a meat shield because he's tapped on manpower.
But you can, yes, it's a meat shield, but you can run it, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely run it, because it's a meat shield that that causes, I guess, deaths and casualties, but it's not the most efficient way, because you just have so much professionalism. So you have a lot of professionalisms. You build this huge banshee. Like, let's see how many. He has 59 mercenaries. How much professionalism was drained building those mercenaries?
Is it 0.1 from mercenary? I'm not entirely sure. But
Zero
it was
point.
a bit.
Yeah, so that's still a lot of manpower that was drained from professionalism. So unless he drained some himself, I think he drained like 7, 9, 10 professionalism by building those mercs. Like,
I think it's a bit premature to build mercs for him. Like I
Sure.
understand that Austria is running completely on mercs.
well, because Austria has zero professionalism. That's what you
Yeah.
do. It's a build, right? But you're not being efficient by running mercs this early on. Like you can leave maybe like 35, 40 mercs for a siege, like kind of like a siege army, but not
Yeah.
but not as an engagement. You should do like manpower, because that's what the
And
mod is about.
And it's really expensive.
And it's also very expensive. Yeah.
I
Speaking
mean, the
of,
French economy isn't bad, but it isn't stellar either. So
I mean, 210 ducats for France like this late. I'm gonna say it's pretty bad.
it's okayish, yeah.
No, it's pretty
not-
bad.
The thing is, like, he has neither full control English channel or Genoa, so
Sure, yeah, but I mean that's what happens when you have the Spanish squeezing this out of you, and then you have the English who are not your friends. And I mean he's collecting in he's being pirates 10%, 13 colonies as pirating, 10% exactly in Bordeaux. Interesting.
that's mean. I mean, I had 13 colonies pirating the Baltic at one point. That was pretty annoying.
Okay, by 10%, right? Okay.
Not even 10, but yeah.
Okay, but yeah, exactly. It's a player, right? So it's a player controlled. It's one of those things, colonial. But it's 10%. Yeah, it's annoying, but still. And then like Burgundy. So France, winner or loser here?
Like, for the time being, I would say it's neutral, neither winner nor loser. The thing will be more like the diplomacy. Will he have a strong Austria-Ottoman alliance left? We have to redo his diplomacy. Will Spain jump on him when Austrian Ottomans are weak? Will GB come for the rest of the lowlands? It depends how the diplomacy starts out next session, in my opinion.
Okay.
I wouldn't say, for now, neither winner nor loser.
Okay.
It's pretty neutral.
All right. Let's go to what? Okay. What about the Spanish Sokoto bloc? Well, okay. The Portugal, Spain, Sokoto, Tuscany.
Portugal.
Portugal bloc.
I mean, Spain is just he has enough land, so he just went tall and it's now really scary looking. For Sokoto, I think its last session was great news. He got a bit of land in Ethiopia. The great threat of Ottomans is declining, and maybe even can dream about Sokoto, Egypt. Portugal is just sitting there doing a bit of trade money, but he can't even dream about facing Malaya. All right, I forgot he got some of Baturan gold mines.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So definitely.
It's minor improvements for Portugal, but nothing great. And Tuscany is just doing his own thing in the New World.
Yeah, so I mean Tuscany, I think the formation itself was really nice, and we'll see what happens. But it's a quantity quality offensive exploration, expansion exploration, right? So it's a very strong. It's guaranteed by Spain and Austria, and I mean it's allied with Portugal. So yeah, I'm gonna consider like, Spain and her subjects. Really,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like, and you can spin whatever you want from it. But I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I would say they're the big winners. They expanded pretty freely into Sokoto. Congo went down. I mean, even GB went into their, E8 land in Africa. And just the mind-blowing, force limit of Spain in comparison to all the other countries. It's really...
I have to revise something about Portugal. Portugal is actually a decent winner. Chokwe next to Congo is a Portuguese vessel, so he basically cut GB off from Congo
Okay.
and can
Oh,
easily
okay.
grow into there. He still has to compete with Couture, but
Yeah.
unless Couture gets saved by Meba, who apparently didn't do it last session,
Yeah, we can go into that. I was in the big war.
he will
Yeah.
have all of South Africa for himself and build a power base there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's like so. I guess Sokoto kind of. I don't know. Did I guess ally? What is debug mode? What is Sokoto tag Sok? I mean, yeah. Sokoto is. I mean, okay, pretty. There you go. 164 ducats. So gold. I mean, he's growing. Force limit, manpower. Dev a little bit under dev'd, but I mean he's alive, right? So of course, yeah,
he
that's
had
the
a shitty start. Tunis is not a great starting location. He got spanked by Ottomans early.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
locked out of expansion. Like he was locked in his land for a long time. Didn't expand really. So yeah, I think he made the best out of his position.
Yeah, is okay. So I guess we're gonna. So for me, the Spain, Sokoto, Portugal, Tuscany, they all expanded last session. You know, it was kind of they. All others bled. They actually really built in. Spain is very built. Sokoto's there. Tuscany is improving, right? So they're in my book. They're the winners of last session. So they really did it nicely.
Yes.
All right, let's go to your guys' struggle versus, I guess, you know, Austria, France, and Ottomans. So, what do you think about your guys' war? Looking at the save.
It was really nasty at the beginning, when Austria and Ottomans still had full quantity. They could feel the full manpower, but I think they didn't push that quantity advantage that they had hard enough. It started later times with just barrage assault, something in Prussia when I was defending in Silesia and vice versa. I just didn't have the quantity to keep up with it. But they started too late with it. And now Uthinia's Tech 21, Austria, Ottomans are dry on manpower, have to spam mercs. I mean, Ottomans is not exactly dry. We can look at that later.
Yeah. So the Ottomans, I'm not really sure what exactly happened there.
Austria is now dry. Like, he doesn't have mill points saved up for the next tech. He is running full mercs. He can't slacken anymore. He's slowly going into debt. I mean, he has a strong economy, so he can take a lot of debt. But yeah, I think it was a wild effort, but eventually they're gonna bleed out here.
Okay. So that's, I mean, what's their war score versus? I mean, he has 50 war score on Prussia.
Yeah, okay. He just got 50 war score on Prussia, yes, but now. That was while Prussia was still busy fighting Sweden. Now Prussia returned with 100k troops from Sweden. So that's another 100k reinforcing. And maybe we have to barrage assault one of these forts to get him below the 50% threshold soon. But he has enough admin banked up to get one.
Yeah, see, like here, Austria, it's in the tough position because... you know, the player that took over Austria, Arvante, he's a good player.
Yes.
But here, really, France and Ottomans themselves are a little bit underperforming. As we can see by the Ottoman force limit, I think he's fielding like a third of what he could field or something like that, maybe even less than that. And just no reinforcements coming. And there's debt, but there's just no reinforcements. I mean, there's, as you can see, some troops being built, but just not enough we can do there. And... Well, you might be right that just because they have this many troops out in the field is just not enough. And they're not really using their force limit optimally for Ottomans. France is not really optimally built with, you know, he's dry on manpower and he's building mercs instead of actually raising troops, right? So.
I mean, we saw the change requests from Austria. I think, like, going... admin ideas would have been the right play, especially for this Ottomans.
Yeah.
Just spam mercs, even if mercs are nerfed. Better bad army than no army. So.
Well, for the Ottomans, the right play for the Ottomans in situations like this, I actually did it in a 1444 game. yesterday is that all you do is so you have 20 professionalism left. If you like, if you think this war is gonna go on more, you just drain all of your professionalism like that. Take more loans, and start building more mercenaries. I think he's been building a lot of mercenaries.
Yeah, that's what
And
it's called.
and it's been draining his professionalism because guys, like look how many troops I can build. Like you can't see it on your screen, but I just built like 254 in production. Uh, the money that he has.
The thing is, I think it's the former, like the Congo player jumped onto Ottomans after the original Ottoman player left. Kind of bailed out the former Ottoman player. Was a bit, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So
You're
he
welcome,
suddenly
guys.
went from a very, very minor nation into a big ass nation and had to kind of make the best out of it.
Well, this is the
It's
player
not
that
the
was
most
playing
like,
Netherlands. No. This is the Netherlands from last season, who
Was
went,
like-
who built like 800, 900,000 troops and went to slaughtered Russia.
Oh,
Right? So Netherlands, like if you look at our last save, Russia is like pushed all the way back to almost to like Moscow, right? Because the Netherlands player, went all in, went force limit, build up his country. So he's not a bad player. I'm just not exactly sure what's going on here in terms of why he was doing all these, building all these mercs. How many mercs does he actually have?
currently running 100.
No, 29
94.
mercs. 29 mercs.
No, 29 regulars. At
Oh,
94.
mercenaries! Holy shit! That is a lot of professionalism. That's what drained his professionalism.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy shit! Okay, guys, this is one of those things that we will say. If our mod is really manpower friendly, it's completely about manpower. Plus, professionalism gives you discipline, but it doesn't give your mercs discipline, right? So if you have 100 professionalism, right, and your discipline is 130, right, mercs will have 120% discipline, right?
Yeah.
And it's a really big difference.
I remember Italy.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and that's what are also draining his economy. Is fighting on mercs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's paying 115 on 55 on mercenaries,
Yeah.
and reinforcements is 32. And what is he reinforcing? Which army? Oh, the 32. Yeah, he's reinforcing the mercs. He's reinforcing the his merc armies, and that's what killing his economy. So this debt was pretty much done on mercs.
I think, yeah, the biggest mistake was in expansion instead of admin ideas here. I'll stick with that.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, the idea is also I completely agree. Expansion, it's one of those ideas you take just for the 15 morale policy, but as Ottomans, you should have focused on either innovative or industrial, something that gives you more cash, more manpower, because that's what you need. But
Yep.
I mean, if industrial, right? So he has 5.2k. If he actually picked industrial, he would be at 5.5. I mean, it's not that much, but land maintenance modifier is strong. Monthly autonomy, advisor cost, goods produced modifier. All
Industrial policies are also pretty nice.
And-
-5% shock damage received as an admin point policy. This is pretty nice. I think it's with offensive that you have 10% artillery compatibility.
Well, for
What?
which one?
Policy.
Oh, for
Industrial.
industrial. Let's see.
It's offensive is 10% artillery compatibility.
Oh,
we're
yes.
slowly getting into the age of cannons. I mean,
Yeah, but
cannons
like
are-
10% artillery combat ability, it's not as strong for policy. That it's not the strongest policy you can use, right?
it's a decent one. Let's
Yes.
put it there.
Like for example, strategic, yeah, on artillery damage from back row, 10%. That's pretty big. But
Yeah.
all right, what else do we want to look at? So I mean several wars that happened. I guess also Ottomans got chewed up twice by Seleucids.
I mean, he's big enough that he doesn't fall over and die when he loses some land, but now it's split. And yeah, like Seleucids showed their hand, and yeah,
Seleucids did what?
showed the hand that they are anti-Ottomans.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
the former Ottoman player believed Seleucid was on his side.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was
yeah.
pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Seleucid was always leaking Diplo here and there, so it's...
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say this in defense of Dennis. I think it's kind of streamed from last season, where the last Ottoman player again, right? You know, I'm not G again. I'm not gonna say, you know, he's not. He changed his name to I quit again.
Okay.
He did not defend any of his allies last season, and this season, you know, this when he was defending Muscovy, the second that he got attacked somewhere in the back, he completely pieced out without actually like changing of the forts or anything like that. So it's not a very good ally, and kind of the calculation was on this. It's kind of free real estate late game. It's because if you push on him when he's not the one pushing, but if you push on him, he collapses,
Yeah.
right?
That
And
like Palantiri was always asking me, "Hey, do something against Ottomans," and I was thinking, "Yeah, well, just wait him out." And because it was always visible, this Ottomans won't scale as much under his rule.
yeah.
So it was like the later the war happens, the better it is.
Yes, I agree. I agree. No, it's one of those things really for the Ottomans wise. I mean, him going into Venice, as Palantiri said, "Oh my God, this is so bad." You know, oh my God, economically. Economy isn't what really stops the Ottomans. Very often, it's the lack of force limit. Ottomans need a huge force limit. So what he should have done, he should have either gone to Ethiopia or gone into Timurids early on, right?
I mean, I personally favor the into Timurids, like take Iraq, take Hormuz.
Yes, yes, and he gave that along the way. And when the moment that he gave his along the way, he was really counting on Timurids to stick with him. But I think because of that last season, also that he refused to defend his allies, and he didn't defend Sweden last season, right? When he was Arabia, it kind of like, you know, really showed him what kind of player that he is. And here, like Seleucids has had two choices really to expand, either into Muwar or Ottomans, right? And you know, he chose the Ottomans because of his past history and the type of player that it is. That you know, you can't really, you know, if you blow on him, the whole thing, you know, falls down, and that's what really happened. The first war, he didn't even like the war that he quit. He didn't fight a single battle. He just quit.
That's, I mean, that also is a sign to your allies at that point, like, why are we not even trying to fight this? Like, why would you stick around with such an ally?
Sure, sure, yeah.
Just try a few battles, see how it goes, and then maybe make a decision. Not just, okay, I'm giving up,
And quitting, yeah. He didn't quit the server though, so which is quite funny. You know, so I mean, but he's going to be reduced into OPMs for a selection process for a long time and tick because of, yeah.
Let's not go there. This is not for.
No. But it is. It is going there because you can't just quit on a nation like that, right? I mean, look at Sweden. Sweden fought. Like Sweden was in a bad position. He at least fought. You know, I just one of those. So, so I'm gonna say like one of the big losers last session was really the Ottomans, not because of the player quitting, but because of it really showed that, you know, quality-wise his troops are back. Professionalism was completely burned. There's debt, crippling debt now on the Ottomans, and you know, split into half. But
yeah, I mean, he can field a large navy to ship troops around.
Sure.
But it's still nasty.
It is. No. It's, you can definitely field a large navy and ship troops around, but it's not as effective as forced march, right? So, Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how he's gonna ship his allies' troops into Egypt. Like if some big wars happen down there.
Yeah, but again, even like for example, Austria doesn't have a navy, France doesn't have a navy, Ottomans doesn't have a navy. So when, as I posted the videos, when the Ottoman army and when the Allied armies, I don't know how to call them, the evil armies of the Ottomans and Austrians and French were split, that was kind of GG, right?
Yep.
Because if we look at the position, if you watch it, I think Marash was taken, I think. And then Diyarbakir, that's the Georgian fort, was also taken, right? So for them to actually try to reunite, they would either have to fight on a highland fort, right? And there's also a lot of Marash fort. It's kind of difficult. There's a lot of river crossings. You have to be very careful, and you have to come from Divirigi. Like, do you see that fort, Divrigi? It's not a fort. It's a province, Divrigi. Anyways. You have to go like this into Marash, and there's still a chance of you to get a river crossing.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. See,
Divrigi has no fort. But
actually, no. You get a -1 crossing no matter what you do on Marash.
Yep.
It's surrounded by rivers.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, rivers are often underestimated. Like, if you have complete flatlands, like, open the simple map terrain and check where the rivers go, because, like, especially you think for Delhi or even like the Polish heartland, like it's all farmlands, grasslands, but you have a lot of rivers there, and you can try to place forts that are at least from most sides covered by river.
Yeah, like Warsaw. Yeah, like Warsaw, for example. There's a lot of rivers there.
Yeah.
There's only is it completely surrounded by rivers?
It's completely surrounded by rivers. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, so that's why the armies got split. That's why they had to surrender. But at least he gave the fight, right? And it was where Great Again he didn't even do it. So give fights. All right, what else do you want to do? I guess when we discuss the Malay-China situation.
I mean, we could discuss your backstab on Vichyeniga.
Sure.
I mean, I was sitting in Europe and suddenly see, okay, you ate some Vichyeniga, your former longtime ally. I mean, I was surprised you kept him around for so long. Like, I would rate you as a very aggressive player. So I was kind of expecting it from day one.
Well, to be honest with you, and this is me being honest on this point, is that for Vigi, I spent a lot of time and resources investing into him, right? In terms of, at one point, I could have just eaten Bengal, cut him off completely, and then strangled him when he was young, right? I should have done that because he didn't have any of his ideas filled out. I think we had like a 20 or 15 discipline difference between the two of us. And a force limit, like a huge force limit difference. The reason why I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it, right? But at a certain point, when he started competing with me for trade and resources, and after a certain point, like I asked him, like last session or last week's diplomacy, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go into the Ottomans because that was our plan. Like, can you help economically? Right, for this, right? Because we're allies. I helped him, and he said, "No, I need the money myself." I'm like, "Okay, but you're fully built, so what? Okay, whatever, doesn't matter." And then he came to me later on. It's like, "Hey, you should. You're gonna help me go into Encore, right?" So he just said no on money, right? And if we go to Vigi, tag Vig, the guy is sitting on 14,000 ducats, right?
Can send that to Ruthenia.
Yeah, he can. No, he can. He could have done a lot of things, right?
Oh.
But he's sitting on 14,000 ducats. He built a lot of forts. He gave away the money to. I think he gave it to Encore. He gave it to Butua. He gave me some ducats but he's completely built out in some cases. He's not very efficiently built. But I stopped helping him how to efficiently build his country, because if you're not going to help me. Like, why would I help you? And after that, it just kind of like it's a machine sucking away my cash that should be flowing to me.
Just being built out, like universities everywhere, manufacturers everywhere, roads everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. So see how much money he spent, right? So he built universities everywhere. He built roads, railroads. So he built everything out, and and he's sitting there. So when I asked him for cash just during the war, he said no, and the guy's fully built. So why do I need someone sitting on behind me who's not expanding, not doing anything, just sucking away my money?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say it's a backstab. Sure, I've never planned it. Him and I had like great ideas and plans, but like when I finally made the request, I need this, right? Like, please help. He said no.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. It's so, he's gonna get one more lesson from me because I told him how to death. I told him how to build his country, what he should do, what he should focus on, what ideas to take. It's a lot of investments. And the one thing I asked from him here, right? He said no. So, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think like unless Anchor intervenes.
He is. Yeah, Encore is intervening. Yeah, we spoke about it.
Yeah. Anchor standing up for the poor man.
What's up?
It's propaganda.
No, what did you say? I didn't hear it.
Anchor standing here for the poor man.
Sure.
Standing. Ulrich Jeniger.
I mean, I really don't have anything to say. I mean, he didn't come to me again this week, and I told him my complaints. He didn't even come to me like, hey, can we fix this situation? If he said, hey, let me give you money, and I'll keep giving you money, and I would even give him back his land. I don't care. The whole point, the whole premise of him is he stopped communicating and he just kind of hoarding money. I really don't need that kind of allies. I'm doing air quotes right now. It's not. It's worse than an ally. It's somebody sucking away your resources.
I mean, not even like writing anything is usually not a good thing.
Yeah.
Like even if it's your arch enemy, just say, hey, let's talk for a sec.
Yeah.
And, most of the time, something good comes out of it.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. Yeah. What I've been doing like I'm gonna say this again, tryharding. I ran simulations of this war with players. Right, so I know exactly how this war will end up against Encore and Vijayanagar, right? Dennis and I drew up maps. We have maps of plans, which forts to take, where to build new forts, where the armies will lead, and how. Yeah.
Why is Seleucids getting into this war?
Why? Because I helped him with the Ottomans twice.
You got stuff in Ethiopia, didn't you?
No.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't get anything. No, I didn't get anything from that, right? So it's one of those things. No, and Seleucids only will get involved if Rustin gets involved, right? But again, we planned this like the whole thing out. So I'm not really sure what Vigi and Rustin talked about, if they talked, but I know that Vigi didn't talk to China or Malaya or Seleucids or anyone else in this, right? So. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there, but.
No. Yeah.
So that's the story of the backstab, right? So I had no plans for that because if I wanted to backstab him, I should have done it 3 sessions ago when it was only him and I, and Encore offered me to kill him, and I said no.
I mean, I'm also kind of often trying to keep not so strong players alive and teach them here and there a thing.
Good. It's a good thing.
It makes the session more interesting. You
Yeah.
can always go and just chop heads left, right, and center.
No, it's true.
Makes it boring.
So when you say I'm a very aggressive player, if you really think about it, not really. I think this has been my most aggressive play here for some time. Since I played Vijayanagar, where I killed 7 players or 6 players, right?
I mean, we had a Delhi, we had a Bengal, we had Miao, we had Ethiopia.
Well, Ethiopia didn't die to me. Delhi didn't die to me. Bengal died to AI, and Miao died because just diplomatically. Everyone wanted Feldspite wanted to form China, Encore wanted more land, and I just wanted the Himalayas as a nice fort, because of the previous when Miao wanted to push into India, and we actually had to guarantee Delhi AI, so he doesn't expand there. So, I mean, and for this, I mean, if you look at the other past seasons, also, I mean, even in KML when I played there, I kept everyone. Like I kept Burgundy, I kept Portugal, I kept other people alive, and this is what I teach people, and I enjoy it. I enjoy building allies, but in this Vijayanagar, I just feel betrayed, right? So just my personal ideas on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do we have here? It's interesting.
I mean, this, which I completely didn't notice during last session, the Malaya-China-Japan war. I mean, interesting, kind of even-ish war happened in Asia.
Well, this happened, and do you know how this happened? Do you know the backstory?
Maybe Malaya raided some coastlines.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it was a bunch of things and a lot of miscommunication. I actually did an interview session with Malaya and China and tried to rework that alliance network and try. I think we're gonna have peace this session, right? I think they sealed the deal. I still need to check. But so what I understand is that China had promised Malaysia some help, like funding help. In return, Malaysia never raided the Chinese coasts. Eventually, the subs just went away and they never came back. So Malaysia looked at it as China just got too cocky and decided to throw it all away, right? The partnership, the promises. And China kind of just forgot. And what he told me, if Feldspite told me, is that he's not, the all-seeing, all-knowing guy, and then you got to talk to him. And basically, Malaya finally said, okay, fuck it, I'm going to go balls deep in the raid, while China kind of said, I didn't know about it because he didn't say anything to me. And so this war started, and Feldspite went from 0 to 100 real fast, and he spent like how much money in ducats and potential, like 10,000 is a lot of ducats to build the ships, which didn't really work out. And, it's one of those things, like, it's like, when you start like gambling and you start losing money, you don't want to walk away from the table because you know that you can't walk away because you already so invested in this, and I think that's why Feldspite kept this war going for so long. So
I mean, it could be an eternal stalemate, but I think no side is going to benefit.
Well, even if China takes naval or maritime ideas like he threatened to do, right? And it's possible he can do it. Why waste the idea and another 20,000, ducats of resources on something like that, right?
I think Malaya, is a pirate republic. He will always out-morale China by a lot, and naval is still very, very quality dependent. So we just gift him more ships that Malaya can capture in the battles.
Maybe. So
I think it's for China, Japan, and Malaya as well. Just end this because it's just costing money.
Sure. Yeah.
And, yeah.
No, it's a huge sink of resources.
That's the biggest lesson you can talk with each other, guys.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Just declaring war rarely helps.
Yeah. I mean, for this, things like that. So it's always easier to do diplomacy in some cases. And I guess, exactly, Mawara and Vijayanagar didn't talk to each other either, and that's why we had this. But again, this week there was absolutely zero communication from me because there's zero communication from him, right? And I think in his position, he should have come and tried to make an understanding. And even if he comes after the podcast, I'm not really sure if I'll be willing to communicate on this matter because it takes a podcast to teach you something. I don't know.
I mean, he is in the bad position, so he should try to speak. Get the discussion.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's even if Russen does come, right? It's still it's a very. I mean, I guess if you're aiming to get war, you'll get war. But I think just from his position, the kind of player position, like he's also Vigi is fully merked up, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
It's, he can afford it, but
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not the point.
but
It's not.
again, mercs have less discipline than normal troops in
Yeah.
our mod, and yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Vijayanagar is strong by itself because he has a lot of infantry combat ability. It's a lot of discipline and stuff like that. So, but
I think the main comparison here is between Mewa and Angkor, and Angkor has quantity, but I don't think he can stand up to Mewa quality.
why? Why do you say that? The Encore troops are amazing.
Are they?
Yeah. First of all, he has more morale.
Okay, he has 7.1 morale, makes him second best, I think, right now.
Yeah.
What policies can he run?
Shock. It's pretty similar. So really, the Mawar and Encore is pretty similar, to be honest with you, right? So his quality is really good. He can run 100. He'll have 133 discipline, and he can have 7.10 morale.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I mean,
Mawar
he
has
has a lot of discipline. Oh, you are running a morale advisor.
yeah.
Why morale advisor doesn't give the morale event. But,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, just
Yeah, I'm hoping for the prestige and the minus tech event.
okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's 50 prestige, so
Yeah, it's 5 morale. Then.
yeah, it's 50 prestige when I need the 50 prestige because look at my air is so good, and then morale is still nice because but I guess I can have 128, so I can have 5 more discipline than Rustin, but I'll have much less morale. All right, so that's the main difference.
Yeah.
So it really comes down, but it will be a home front advantage, and then if he does come, he'll have to fight in the fog of war, in a fog of war,
Yeah.
right? So Encore has 1 artillery stack, Vigi has 1 artillery stack, so basically they'll be looking for 1 battle, right? And if you and because of a lack of forts in the Mewar area on that side. There's a lot of areas to cut reinforcements off, right, and like hit really really hard. So
I also don't like these kind of borders that Vijayanagar had, this snake border, because like you can easily cut him in half, and then he has half his nation cut off.
yes, yeah. So it's basically going to be the same.
For free, or your armies retreat after that in 2 different parts of your nation.
Yeah.
The snaking approach, I don't like.
Well, the snaking approach was fine because we were allies. We were allies. And the snaking approach was good because he got land, he got the Bengal Delta, and we even had like a trade deal going on. But that's just how things go. Because I could have cut him off from Bengal 2 sessions ago, right?
Yeah.
But because we never planned on this.
Yep.
So, I mean, I have forts that I took from AI, and I just never, and then more forts that I had from Meow, but I never actually had forts for Vijayanagar. If you look at my border.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of forts at all. I mean, you have Seleucus on the one side, long-time ally. You had Vijayanagar as long-time ally on the other side. So
yeah, no, the
you
main
had a lot of need for forts.
Yeah, the real forts, it's mostly just near the capital, and those forts have been there since like the beginning of the game. Because if you look at all the fort placements, they're all on hills, and I did it when I was very small. During the first age, I had all those forts, and it's this line of fort that I had. It's still from the first age, and it's a very strong fort line for Mewar because during the first age. You have the +1 combat ability on your capital, and my capital was the gold mine, which is a hill, right? So that's why all my forts there, besides the new capital, they moved to an mission, are on hills. So when you're on attack, you either get a -1 or -2 penalty if you cross rivers, and then also as Mewar, you get a +1 against your opponents, and it's just absolutely decimation. Yeah. I actually learned this from a war when I was Vijayanagar and Kai was Delhi/Nepal, and we actually had to kill a war player, and he absolutely decimated the Delhi armies, like decimated the Delhian armies. And every time we had to fight for a fort, it was a struggle because of the amount of negative rolls we got.
Yeah. Not a pretty fight.
No, it's not. No. It's especially later on. I mean, early on, it's just absolutely horrible difference. But yeah, so there you go. Anything else to discuss?
New Zealand.
What?
Georgia wanted to have an Australia there. New Zealand. I think Tuscany doesn't agree with it.
Well, see, that's a very interesting move. So Tuscany is moving into there, and he's just colonizing land, and that's gonna be. I'm not sure what's gonna happen exactly there, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia's in no position to make any demand anyway.
Sure.
Kind of see like what the players allow him to do. I mean, played his cards right with and against the Ottomans. Like, Ottomans allowed him to cross via the Suez Channel to get range into the Indian Ocean. And now he's eating into Ottomans.
Ottomans got thrown really, really hard. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a meme nation, but he is very opportunistic, trying to gain something.
I am very sure that this session we will see George just shine. I will tell you this much.
I have visions of a phoenix. Just
maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, it'll be very interesting.
I mean, I really would love to fix my border wall with him. Just putting that out there. But yeah.
I mean, how? Oh, Astrahan? Yeah.
It's ugly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I mean, I'm busy with Austria and Hungary.
Yeah, you should just give him the Astrahan so it fixes the border completely.
No.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
That's mine.
Wait, did Astrahan get raised?
No. Oh, I didn't. Maybe it was raised by one of the AI hordes at one point and it didn't own it.
I mean, it should have, because I think Astrahan doesn't start as 9, it starts like at 15.
No, whatever.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm a bit annoyed that from Astrakhan you don't have trade rate into Samarkand. For some reason it's super far away, despite bordering each other.
Interesting. Samarkand, Russia's pulling all that trade.
Yeah, like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. Anyways, so let's end right here. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for your insights, and I hopefully you enjoyed it.
Just one forecast for next session. Okay. I think there will be a lot of wars because pretty much everyone is built up and is getting tired of clicking the death button.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice, yeah.
I'm looking forward to a lot of blood.
Well, looking forward to a lot of blood, yeah.
I mean, the Polish fields are well fertilized.
Yes. There's a lot of fertilized things, especially the fertilization that happened in Bukhara last session. That was nice. Did he move the capital? Yeah, he moved the capital to Ishim. Funny.
Russia can even push it into Europe very easily because he still has the decision to move it to St. Petersburg.
Ooh.
And by the way, Austrian capital is Ulm since 1 or 2 sessions.
Why?
Don't ask me. It's so exposed. But it's Ulm.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure why it's not like Steckmark, for example.
I would even consider putting it in Linz.
Maybe. All right. Anyways, let's end the podcast. Thanks so much for joining me, and hopefully
Thank you for
got-
having me.
Yeah, I think hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So we'll see everyone on the fields of battle.